Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to do Marvel's The Defenders, issue number 105. Now, I tried to get all the Defenders because I have all the Dutch versions, well, most of the Dutch versions. And I've read this comic probably more than 30 years ago. And back then, I read comics more for fun and escapism, like I'm doing now. But I didn't, appreciate the writing as much as I do now when I'm, older. And so read it again, and it had a different cover, and I remember this story, but I didn't know which story it was until I opened a page, and then I knew exactly what it was. And we're gonna dive in. This is fantastic, by the way. It's written by J.M. DeMatteis, and he's more. And it surprised me because DeMatteis is more like he can do comedy a lot. He's doing a lot of good writing, but has a more serious note, and I was surprised how good it was. Also, the art is by Don Perlin and Joe Sinnott, and the art looks freaking fantastic. So we have Damien Hellstrom here as the son of Satan, Beast, of course, Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards, and of course Stephen Strange, Doctor Strange, right? So what is this all about? Well, it's about this crystal. So it seems that this crystal here is, let's say, Doctor Strange is investigating this broken crystal. Now, why? Beast broke it, and there's a reason why. So we have a flashback. It seems that this woman called Vera, she is, I believe, the girlfriend, or was, back then, the girlfriend of Beast. And she was poisoned by none other than Jarvis. And Jarvis is a Skrull. Looks so weird with this thing on his head. And the Skrull wants to have the resurrection stone. So he's sending the Avengers on a quest to get it. But it seems that this millennium-old gem with the power to return life to the dead. But so Beast decided that the crystals was way too dangerous, so he destroyed it, and also, therefore, also destroyed the hope that he can bring Vera back from the dead. But it seems that the danger of the crystal is not over, so Doctor Strange wants to destroy it. If they do not do it, then the stone would reform and become a danger again, because it has some seducing abilities, hypnotizing people, bring them into chaos, do their bidding, and all that stuff. Pretty cool. Meanwhile, in Hell, we see Damien Hellstrom going through trials. Why? Because his father, Satan, wants to become, the prince of Hell, but the human side of Damien Hellstrom is a thorn in his eye. So he goes through these trials for, I don't know, weeks, months, years maybe, to get rid of the human side. Now, so Satan says, hey, we are here at the end. You have to complete one final task. And he gives them a big stone because, this is an innocent young child. And Damien wants to kill it because it's innocent, and then he cannot do it. He crushes the stone, but then the child was not real. He was another demon. And he says, you're a fool. And says also, you never ascend to your father's throne, boy. You're a stinking human, through and through. So Satan just sends this demon away. And he yells at his son, now hear me, Damon, and hear me well. You followed me down into the netherworld because you wanted to. You said there was no longer a place for you in his world, the human world, the world of the Lord, I guess, his world. It's what I'm presuming he's confirmed, not confirmed to, but you know what I mean. That. Referring to. Yes, that's the word. Sorry, guys, English is not my native language. I took you in, nerded you, tutored you in the mendacious ways, but in the final leap must be made freely of your own will. You must choose, he says. But then Damien says that he wanted to, but he cannot do it. And then, Satan slaps him in the face. And he says, you need to make a choice. Give yourself over to me or suffer the damn consequences. Right? Meanwhile, Strange, Reed, and Beast, Hank McCoy, decide they have to go into the, I don't know, the mystic world or the other side as well, in the gem, because there lies the solution for all their problems, I guess, or may they find the preparations to get rid of it somehow. So they go in, and there's this well of crystal, and all these creatures coming to life, but there are no match against the powers of well, they are not exactly the defenders, but our heroes trio, if you will, adds. So they're taking care of it, no problem at all. And then they venture farther and farther into this world, into the, I don't know. I sense a great energy surge ahead. The consciousness that guided these crystal dragons must be surely like this way. Congratulations, Dr. Strange. Your mystic tracking skills are quite refined. So, but before we get into that, so we see here, I don't know, Damien Hellstrom being Jesus Christ, carrying a cross, but then made of demon flesh, because he's going to be crucified. And so Satan comes and he says, hey, this is your crucifixion is at hand. You will be hung upon a cross of demon flesh. Death will be slow and painful, and then 3 nights and you will rise. Your human have expunged, your soul completely mine. Right? So so Damien surrenders himself, but then he is defiant once again, and he says, I'm never gonna do it. And this is a blasphemy, a mockery of that all is holy. And he says, well, he's going against his father and all that stuff. And then Satan disappears and laughs. Meanwhile, back to the gem world, if you can call it that, there is a giant woman made of crystal, and she's crying. And she says, I am the giver of life, the raiser of the dead, the mistress of this realm you callously crushed. Yeah, beast, that's what you did. And he says, I had to do it. Your power is too much for humanity to handle. You drive men mad, bringing death instead of life. And you left my kingdom a ruin. What was my crime? I served the living. Bring them salvation, the hope of better days. Am I to blame if those are created could not control the animal passions and destroy themselves? And then this is happening because, well, it was all a ruse. And she says, fools, it was my psychic call that reached out to Dr. Strange in his meditation, influenced his mind, drove away his caution, and drew you free to me. So yeah, more evil stuff. And she wants to rule the galaxy again, bring out, using them to grow her powers and all that stuff, draining their life forces. But then, Beast crashes into her form and thinks he's destroyed, and he says, shit, I cannot get out of here again. But then this woman says she is in her domain now, or they are in her domain, and she turns into rain, and then therefore he has also been crystallized, right? Pretty cool. But then going back to hell, I love this, 1 page after 1 page or 2 page going back to hell in the crystal world. So once again, Damon is now being defiant towards his father. And this is the final confrontation. And he says, you must do what you will with my body, but my soul is forever free of you. And so basically Damien says that couple of months right here that he is being tested, and he's he's taught the path of decency is the path I walk, whatever the struggle, whatever the cost. So basically he's saying fuck you, dad, something like that, not along the way. But then Satan says this, and here is what the writing is become real good in my opinion. Of course, Damon, that is precisely why I brought you here. For too long have you been uncertain, vacillating between the poles of duality. You had to choose. You chose wisely. Wisely? You call my choice of good over evil wise? I believe, Damon, that it's time for you to learn a most important lessons. He says, just there are opposites warring in your soul, so there are opposites warring in all creation. Each man has many faces, from the highest of the high to the lowest of the low. And although I am the embodiment of the low, an incarnation of evil, I too have innumerable faces, myriad names, and I too contain within me an opposite face. So yeah, we've seen here Satan. Is this Clute? Is that how you say it? I don't know who this is. What his face is it? Mephisto. So does that mean Satan is also Mephisto, or is Mephisto a manifestation of Satan? I do not know. But then this is happening. No, not this. This. Look upon my other face and understand why your choice pleases me. So there's a bright light. And Satan says this, better yet, Damon says this. How can it be? How can this be? Darkness of its functioning creation, Damon. Its role important as light. Man evolves as much through adversity as through benevolence. Suffering is instructive as bliss. Pain blinds man to this truth, but the truth remains. The opposites meet. Duality merges. Good and evil serve the same eternal one. Still, I have my role to play. You have yours. We are sworn enemies. We must fight each other through eternity. But that behind the facades, your father loves you. But know that behind the facades, your father loves you. I do not expect you to fully comprehend this, Damon. If you could without going mad. This is why this memory of this will fade from your mind, leaving behind only a glimmer of what you've learned. Now return to your human friend's whelp. This side of you sickens me. The Lord of Lies laughs. The son of Satan falls, screams. Wow, what a great dialogue. Now, I'm saying maybe something controversial for people who believe in God, but could it be in this instance, in this comic, that the Lord of Evil, Satan himself, could be also the Lord of Love and Life? Our Lord God? Could it be? I'm not a believer myself, but what is this blinding light? Could it be that he is the one and the same? The opposites meet, duality merges, good and evil serve the same eternal one. Or that they both serve something, a much higher power. I don't know. Interesting thought, food for thought, if you will. Like I said, when I was younger, I didn't see this. I just see something and I just moved on because it didn't resonate, it didn't click. But now it does. And I pause here and think about it. And that's good writing if something of this happens to me personally. Now moving on. We are almost there. So then Damien is now transported to the Sanctum Sanctimonium of Dr. Strange's house. And he feels the pull of this crystal that is now fully grown whole. And the voice says, take me into your hands. The voice sings, I will give you the cosmos. I will raise you up and make you a god. Hellstrom does not know what this strange gem is, yet it instinctively senses that its song is true. But he has faced the greatest temptations of all today, and he will not be tempted again. So, and then this is happening. The reformed stone shatters into 1,000 gleaming shards. There is an eerie prophetic shriek. And then, so they are being released from this gem now, coming back to reality. And they sense that is something, off with Damien and Dr. Strange transport this crystals through time and space, never to become whole again. And So Beast is, sad because now the only chance to restore Vera is now gone. And then Damien says this. So he's gonna lie her down on the floor. Now again, writing is so cool, in my opinion. He pauses, breathes deep, studies every contour of this woman's face and form, and then kneels down beside her. So Beast doesn't like that. Hellstrom's hands touch Vera's temples, and Reed Richards swears that he sees sparks leap from the woman's flesh. Hellstrom himself sees nothing. He is lost in lubrication deep and warm, pondering the ironic twist of fate that gave an offspring of evil the healer's touch. That all pondering is lost as the waters of his psyche are rolled by a vague sense of peace and wholeness beyond the demonic dark soul, beyond the nobly striving human. Trembling, he calls the wholeness forth, grants it free rein. And then she is healed. And Beast is over the moon, and she's now, she's confused and all that stuff. So basically a happy ending, right? But then I wanted to close off with this line here. So Strange says, "This nightmare is ended forever, Vera, and a new life rises with the dawn." A new life, says Damon. A strange feeling swelling within his breast, Damon Hellstrom turns away from his companions. Look at the snowy-covered streets. There is something in the air in this morning, something precious, something rare, something pure. The purity touches the core of his being for the first time since childhood. All barriers drop, and he cries. Not tears of rage or frustration or hatred, but joy. In the distance, a church bell rings, tolling 7 a.m. on a fine Christmas morning. On a new life rising, and an old one laid to rest. Finny. Isn't this great? Isn't this great writing? Right? This is fantastic, in my opinion, of course. I mean, you could, of course, disagree with me, but, like I said, this is, although the story when in the gems is not really that interesting for me, but the journey, that Damien Hellstrom, and it probably, went on for a long time in comics before this one, but, the conclusion that he has overcome, his demonic presence and embraces his human side, or maybe is in peace that he has a good and an evil side in him, as have we all. That's fantastic. I think the writing is really, really good when it comes to those parts in this comic. So overall, I give it a thumbs up. Guys, let me know what you think about this. Thank you for watching as always. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.